is the 77 WABC minicast.
I know that elections are coming up, and look, I pray to God. I love you like I love Trump. I really do. I adore both of you guys. You know that. I love you. I love Sarah. I love all you guys. But, you know, there is a group of people in Israel and here in America that are rooting for your defeat. Even though you've won 5 of the last 6 elections, are you pretty confident? Because I love what you said to Mark Levin at JNS. I was sitting in the front row looking right at you, BB, when you said, I plan on being here for a long time. I think you meant that, yes?
Yes, I did. But let me tell you, I run in every election as if I'm going to lose. It's up to me and my colleagues to make sure we don't. So I never make these gung-ho predictions. I say to my followers, in fact, I will lose unless you guys show up in on voting day. That's really my approach, and I think it's the right one. I intend to be right.
I have a lot of big people on this show, Trump, Bibi, all of them. There's nobody bigger than Mark Levin. I think he's the most important voice in the world. I had Sean Hannity on the show a couple of days ago, Monday when Graham died. I think Mark is the most important and smartest voice in the world. I legitimately love the man. I had the opportunity to spend time with Mark and his lovely wife, Julie, in Israel a couple of weeks ago. It was an honor. In fact, Bibi was late for that first Sunday night speech, and they had me and Mark fill the time. Mark must have spoken for an hour and a half, and he was brilliant. He does a radio show all over America. He's on this station every night. We're lucky to have him. 2 great shows on Fox News every Saturday and Sunday night. Most importantly, like I said, a dear friend and the most powerful voice in the world today, my friend, the great one, Mark Levin. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Oh, Sid, I'm doing a lot better now. That was very incredible of you. Not true, but thank you. And I do want people to know that you and I are very, very tight, and we text all the time, and we bump into each other all the time, give each other a big hug, and we genuinely do love each other because Sid and I, really, we have the same views about America, Israel, the Islamists, the Marxists, and all the rest of it. And Sid, you're number one in New York for a reason, in the toughest slot, the morning slot. And people love you, and for a very good reason, brother. Thank you.
What I said was true, and thank you. I know you're humble. And that is Mark, by the way. He's not he's not just saying that for the air. He's a humble guy, but just brilliant. You know, I will often text you. There's a big admission on air. I'm going to see the president, I think, this Saturday in Bedminster, New Jersey, the summer White House. And I'll often text Mark. I'll go, I think I pissed off the president. I don't know. And then we'll talk about some subject, maybe Iran, maybe Turkey, something out there that is certainly a hot topic. And you'll kind of talk me off the ledge. But it does seem like recently, as much as I adore and love Trump, and I think he's the best president ever, that I've been a bit critical about a whole variety of topics. And people tend to get crazy. Oh, you don't love Trump anymore. That's not true. I can be critical of a few things and still love the president, yes?
Of course. I mean, I am as well. And he loves you. He's very, very busy. He's a big fan of mine, and we're big fans of his. We know how important he is to this country. We know he is standing between us and the mob, standing between us and the hard left. I mean, people seem to forget what other Republican presidents have been like, certainly post-Reagan. They've been very milquetoast. They've been very average. It's hard to remember anything profound that they've done, not to put them down, but it's hard to remember everything profound Donald Trump has done. And so, you know, you have to accept the fact that this man's under constant attack, under constant pressure, and I think he's performing brilliantly. Where I think you and I disagree with him is we want to see the Iranian regime destroyed. We want to see them pulled out from the roots up, arm the people there. And some of the leaks against Netanyahu, which I don't think are him, might be some of the envoys and so forth. Because we need Netanyahu in Israel. We need Donald Trump in the White House. This is a strong duo like FDR and Churchill, like Reagan and Thatcher. These are two of the greatest leaders of all time. And again, nobody's perfect. Sid and I aren't perfect. We have our views, and we express them. And, you know, Sid, that's very, very important that we do. So he hears from a different perspective, not just some of these individuals. And we do it very, very respectfully. In other words, We raise the question about the issue. We never try to sabotage him.
That's right.
We never try to stab him in the back. And that's the difference between us and so many people who are just nasty as hell.
You nailed it. That's exactly right. That's the way I do it. That's the way you do it. And that's why at the end of the day, he still respects us. The one thing I do get about this Iran stuff, and I'm right with you, I've been adamant about it, just blow their doors off. That's it. And, I heard you bring up World War II with Germany and Japan with Sean Hannity a couple of nights ago. Nobody wanted those people to die, but that's war. But the boots on the ground issue, Rachel Campo stuff, he keeps bringing up with me. But I said, listen, I don't want him there. Trump doesn't want him there. Listen, President Trump doesn't want anybody to die. You got to know this guy. He is a good-hearted, nice man. He doesn't want anybody to die. But if they're called for a situation, whether it's getting to a place where you got to get the dust or who knows what, and we need some boots on the ground, if it means a victory, you got to do it. And when I say that, for some reason, Mark Levin, I become a bad person.
Well, you're not. I think we have something called the Marines, do we not?
Yeah,
I think we have something called the Army, do we not? Should we retire them? Should we shut it down? Those are boots on the ground. I don't even like that phrase. These are our men, infantry, Marines, and so forth and so on. And if you're going to announce in advance that we're never going to use them, the enemy will attack us. They have a lot of boots on the ground. It's just so absurd. And these isolationists, most of them are very ignorant. Most of them are not aware of our history. Most of them are very sympathetic to our enemies, to be quite frank about it. And they've undermined the president every step of the way. But this idea that we should, number one, never have quote-unquote boots on the ground, and number two, convey that to the enemy, and then we're going in for a $1.5 trillion defense budget, none of that makes sense because they don't make sense. We don't send in troops just to send in troops. We send in troops if we have to, and these are men and women who are trained. They are volunteers. None of them are drafted. They understand their duty. They are incredibly patriotic, more patriotic than most. And these people who keep saying no boots on the ground, no boots on the ground, they're the ones who are going to get us into World War III. They're the ones who are going to wait until geographically, militarily, and psychologically, we're not prepared to defend ourselves. They're wrong.
100% wrong. Couldn't agree with you more. Mark, I want to move to Turkey. You, like me, very adamant about not providing F-35s to Erdogan in Turkey. Bibi came out right away, said, look, I love Trump, I love him, but he can't do this. He can't provide Turkey with any military machinery. Now, I had a guy in studio yesterday, our dear friend John Kaczmatidis, who loves us both, and he is of Greek descent, so he knows just how dangerous Turkey is, and he said, don't worry, not going to happen, not in a million years. And I tend to believe that. I think President Trump knows that F-35s in the hands of Turkey would be a huge problem for Israel and, quite frankly, a lot of the Middle East. But until he says no, that is still kind of dangling out there. Are you worried about that?
Look, if the president proposes something and he's pushing it hard, I worry about it if I disagree with it. F-35s for Turkey, to me, is something to be opposed strongly. And if it doesn't happen, it's going to be because Republicans and Democrats in Congress don't want it to happen. There is a resolution in place, it can't be ignored, that says no. And the reason is Erdogan is friendly with Putin. He bought S-400s, ground-to-air missile systems, in violation of our rules, in violation of NATO. He didn't care. And then he wants F-35. So what he wants is Russian defense batteries against jets. And then he wants our top jets. And, of course, we have hundreds of billions of technology that went into these jets. They're stealth fighters. They're cutting edge. And it would change the balance of power there. It would potentially give this incredibly important technology to the enemy. Why do it? Why give him 100 F-35s? This guy is a nationalist, socialist, sound familiar? Islamist. He is constantly threatening Israel, Greece, Cyprus. He's constantly kissing up to Putin. He doesn't get F-35s, regardless, period. He doesn't get F-35s. It took us 25 years to develop that technology in those jets, and we don't give it to one of the most heinous dictators on the planet, period. And I'm not one of these guys, just to be honest, it'll never happen, this side or there. It takes voices like yours and mine and a lot of behind-the-scenes work people don't realize I do and you do to advance good things and prevent what I consider bad things.